MC Proper.
So at the Bama Standard, one of the things that we pride ourselves on is finding the stories behind the players. We like to bring them to the forefront. Rudy, you've always been a man of great stories. We've enjoyed watching you through the years, and we've always loved having you come back to retell what you've done. It's very inspirational. But one of the things that you've had the opportunity of doing is mentoring the next generation. And we have a guy on this current team that is a fan favorite. He's a headhunter, but not only that, he's a team leader. And he's a guy that we're excited to have stay at the University of Alabama. He could have gone pro. He probably would have been first round this year in the NFL draft. That's Malachi Moore. Now, what Alabama fans don't know, he almost didn't play the position that we're so accustomed to watching him play. That 13 may have been carrying the ball or maybe catching the ball. But Rudy, he almost didn't become what we're enjoying today. So if you would tell us how that transition happened, and you were behind it, right?
Yeah, and I guess, and also himself too, man. I tell you what, man, I've really enjoyed seeing Malachi's career, man, and ain't no doubt. I think this year after the season, he's going to be a top 5 pick in the NFL draft. But like I said, I coached him in high school, and I remember I was his defensive coordinator at Hewitt Trussville High School. He argued me down when he was younger, when he was a freshman and a sophomore playing offense. He wanted to be a receiver. He did. He wanted to be. A lot of people don't know that he wanted to be a receiver. Well, his first love was basketball, which I think he's a dynamic basketball player, Division I caliber basketball player, had offers. But his first love was playing receiver. And I remember he went to the Bama camp his sophomore year, and I was like, "Hey, Malachi, you need to come play defense. You're going to be a first round defensive back." I remember telling you, like, "Coach, I'm an offensive back. I'm an offensive player." And I said, "Man, yes, you need to come try me out, man. Come check it out." So his freshman and sophomore, he didn't really want to hear that, and so he went to the Bama camp as a receiver. Him and his mom called me and said, "Well, it didn't go as good." The next camp, he went to Sanford as a defensive back, and he just dominated. Like, it was not even close. I mean, he was pressing guys, couldn't get off the line. He received his first Division I offer at the Sanford camp, playing defensive back, and the rest was history. But yeah, he was going to be an offensive player. He was going to be a receiver.
So what did you see? I know as a coach, you're able to look beyond what we see. You're able to look beyond what the player sees. You're able to see what's for his own good. So what tipped you off that, hey, this kid may have it doing something else?
One thing as a coach, especially as a high school coach, is always about projecting and projection. And one thing that I saw him in middle school playing basketball and running up and down the basketball court, locking people up on the basketball court and playing that man-to-man defense. And I was like, man, this joker's, he needs to play defense. And also his ball skills he had. And then also him being tough and physical. And I said, this guy's he's gonna be a big time defensive player, man. He just got to get over there, man. He just got to fall in love. Because at that, during that time, a lot of young guys, they love offense. They love scoring touchdowns. And that's kind of the deal. I want to score a touchdown, coach. I just don't want to make tackles. But now it's the rest is history, man. He took off with it.
Stephen M., I know you have something that you want to ask, and you've had experiences. You've watched this kid go from Hewitt Trussville till now. The progression has been just out of this world. The story alone is inspiring. He has battled so many setbacks, and many people counted him out. But now he's surging in the right direction. Last year was his coming back to life party, if you will. So what do you see? What have you seen from him?
I've seen a just huge resurgence. I mean, our guys here at Touchdown Alabama magazine, we've known Malachi since he was in high school. And I remember one of our guys, Justin Smith, and our producer, John Ivory, they actually went to several Hewitt Trussville games. We actually did a day in the life documentary on Malachi, where it was right there, doing the day in the life of Malachi, following him through workouts, following him through practices on the field, following him through him getting his official offer from Alabama. But one thing I remember, he and Brian Branch, young man from Georgia, they both came in the same class, that 2020 class. Malachi and Branch both came in together. And I remember this was prior to this is when COVID first came in. and everybody was talking Branch. And no offense to Branch, that kid's a baller. Everybody was talking how good Branch is, how elite Branch is, how marquee Branch is going to be, in this defense. And I remember watching practice. This is prior to COVID. And Malachi's out there. He lays a hit on Thiu Jones-Bell. This was a drill where Saban doesn't want you to go that hard. Like, it's just, do you know what you're doing? He don't even want you going that hard. Just, do you know what you're doing? Malachi comes downhill, clean Thiu's clock out. And I'm like, okay, he's it. Like, I'm like, okay, Branch is good, but 13, this is different. And from that moment, like, this kid's got something. And we watched that whole 2020 season as a freshman, 3 interceptions, 6 pass breakups, a tremendous freshman year. And then he suffers 2 injuries back to back. And he had shin splints, he had back spasms. It was tough on him. And when it was tough on him, Brian Branch ended up surging, which happy for Branch, but the fact that Malachi didn't crawl in a hole. He came back in 2022, had a good year. And then last year, we saw him get back to that freshman form. Last year, he had like 52 tackles, 5 tackles for loss last year with 5-7 pass breakups, a pick. Last year, he got back to a lot of those things we saw him do as a freshman. And not just that, he earned permanent team captain honors. When he got that showed me, okay, he's back. We saw what he did as a freshman. We saw him go through adversity. Now he's back. And now you look at this upcoming season, you got so many NFL scouts saying this guy can literally be a first-round pick. Jim Nagy right now, and this is the senior executive director for the Senior Bowl, who's been a scout for like 20 years. Has got 6 Super Bowl rings. Jim Nagy's talking about, look, this kid, first-round pick, if he has the season that we are envisioning him to have. And this defense, this 4-2-5, is tailor-made for Malachi to go off. Caleb Downs transferring may have just opened up the door for Malachi to say, I'm a first-round pick now. He's about to show everybody he will be the first DB off of this board in the 2025 draft.
Rudy, can you piggyback off that? Why is this year the year for Malachi as opposed to last year, maybe the others? Why does he have a chance to really surge and, quite honestly, like Steven just said, make people forget?
It's his team. It's his team, and this is truly his team. And one thing I've always appreciated and admired Malachi, like anytime he experienced adversity, like he's the type of person that excels through that, man. And in high school, he did that. Him going to Alabama, and fighting through that. And him even actually earning a scholarship at University of Alabama. I remember his whole deal is hell. I remember me and talking to his mom and his dad, and Alabama. Alabama loved him, but they said, "Listen, the only way we're gonna offer you Malachi if you run a 4.4. You got to run a 4.4." And I remember that. I remember sitting and we was all nervous, because we knew he could do it, but it's just you got to go do it. And so I remember he get out there and do it, man. And not only did he run a 4.4, man, he ran a 4.3. Like he's going to excel in that. Like, man, so that's one of those guys. I mean, this is his year because this is his team. He loves Alabama. He's always been Bama through and through for life. He loves the university where he could have left, and I know people was trying to get him to leave and all this other stuff, but this is his school. He loves it, and he's gonna put on the show, man. Like it's his. I'm just proud of him.
For me, Justin, this is why I think this is his year. This defense is so personal to him. This team is personal to Malachi.
Ain't no doubt.
It's personal for him. I mean, you look at Deontay Lawson. He's from the state as well, from Mobile, but Deontay is not that talker. Malachi is gonna let you know, I take this personal. Like Tim Keenan, he's from Birmingham, in-state guy. Tim leads, but it's just something different with Malachi. From the moment Malachi set foot on this campus in 2020, it was personal for him.
Oh, yeah.
And guys that take it personal, they go above and beyond to make sure I'm not going to be the reason this team fails, because he takes it just that bad. And I feel like that's the reason why this is his team. The defensive coaching staff, they love him. Kane Womack sat there and said, and I talked to Coach Womack during spring practice. He mentioned the best thing that could have happened to this defense was having Malachi Moore come back. Coach Maurice Linguist, the best that could have happened, having Malachi back. Coach Colin Hitzler, the best thing that could have happened, having Malachi Moore on this defense, because they all know to this dude, it's bigger than, I'm on this defense. This is my program. It's bigger than that.
No doubt, no doubt. He's primed, honestly, this season. Not only he's gonna have a first round, all this other stuff, but I think, matter of fact, I know he's gonna have a season where he's gonna be the most dominant player on defense in the country.
I'm calling Jim Thorpe. I'm calling Jim
Me
Thorpe.
No
I'm
doubt.
calling Jim Thorpe. I'm calling he'll get Jim Thorpe, and he'll probably get either the Bronco Nagurski or the Chuck Benderek too.
Yep. You can go book that today. He gonna win all those awards, man. He didn't win all those awards, being mentioned for a top 5, top 3 pick in the NFL draft, and all of that. Lead the team to an unbelievable season under the boy's first season, man. And because not only that, he's always been had that leadership ability to make people follow him and excel and all that stuff, man. So yeah, man, this is his year, honestly.
So before I let Rudy kind of bring things to a close, Stephen, I'm going to ask you this. We just propped up Malachi as a player, as an individual. This player gets better because of Malachi Moore. Fill in the blank.
Okay, this player gets better because of Malachi Moore. Fill in the blank. I'm going to go Damani Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Damani Jackson gets better because of Malachi Moore. Damani comes over as a transfer from USC, and people trashed USC's defense the last few years. That was not on Damani Jackson. Alex Grinch is not a good DC. So now you bring Damani with all of that 5-star talent. He came from Mater Dei High School in Santana, California. He comes to Tuscaloosa. He's going to get much better coaching from Maurice Linguist, from Coach Kane Womack. So much better coaching there for Damani. Now you have a Malachi Moore who's been immersed so much in this Bama culture his whole life, playing right behind you as a strong safety. Look at how much confidence that gives Damani Jackson. I got a guy behind me that's played at Bama, that knows Bama, that knows the ins and outs of the SEC, that knows the ins and outs of defense, that knows the ins and outs of this program. He is going to help me so much with the wisdom he provides, the work ethic he provides, the technique he provides. I think Malachi helps Damani Jackson out tremendously.
Love that. That's a fantastic answer. Rudy, when you first had, I don't want to say it was a fight. It was a disagreement. You had another situation where you're trying to argue down your former coach, Ellis Johnson, when you're at the Citadel, convincing him to release you so you could play at the University of Alabama. He was wrong at the time. You were right. You had your full circle moment. We talked about it before. We talked about many times at Mississippi State. You have a pick 6. It seals the deal, wins the game for Alabama. We remain undefeated. After the game, Coach Ellis comes to you after the press conference, congratulates you, says how proud he is of you. Fast forward to the conversation that you had with Malachi. You had to argue him down. And you had to make him make a hard decision, one that was ultimately the best path for him. Again, Rudy, you were right. This is a trend. I'm picking something up. So that being said, did you have that full circle moment with him where later on you had the conversation where he picked up the phone, whether it's voice or whether it's text, and he said, you know what, Coach Rudy, you were right?
Well, yeah, I guess, man, we joke about it all the time, man. Me and his family, we joke about it all the time. So, man, I'm glad we listened. But it was something we saw that everybody believed it and everybody seen it, but it was hard convincing the kid at that time, Malachi at the time, just because he was young and everybody wanted to score touchdowns, and he did, but he jumped when he embraced it. It was over with. When he embraced it, it was over with, man. But it was we laugh about that, honestly. We laugh about that. We laugh about those times with him arguing wanting to play an offense. But I honestly, I think that made him a better defensive player.
Yeah.
Honestly, him playing offense early like he did, and him being such a great pass catcher and route runner, him understanding offenses on it have made him. But yeah, we sit here and laugh about that now, man. But during that time, it wasn't funny.
Imagine not.
Yeah.
But thank God for coaches, right? See
Ain't no
things
doubt.
that,
Ain't no doubt. And
we
great
can't
players.
see.
and great players.
And we definitely appreciate you playing part in what we're seeing today, because Alabama is benefiting greatly for that, especially in terms of leadership. We see it on the field, and we're going to see it even more on the field this season. You know, everybody's counting us out, but guys like Malachi, you don't want to go up against that. So,
Nah.
But guys, I thank y'all so much for being a part of this. I'll remind everybody who's watching, stay tuned to the Bama Standard, where we have more great content coming your way. Roll Tide, everybody.
Roll Tide.